Just like the span tag in HTML, CSS allows you to create your own selectors called ID and class. An ID starts with a hashtag and should only be used one time per page, whereas a class starts with a dot and it can be used on multiple elements throughout a page. Let me show you how this works. So if we go here, you'll notice I've got this HTML page that's just black text with a white background. I have also created a style sheet. So let's view those horizontally. And I'm going to go ahead and click here and open my style sheet. It's currently doing nothing because I haven't referenced it yet in my HTML. So let's go put in the name of my style sheet. And once I do, you'll notice the background turns this floral white color because I've told the body to have a background color of floral white. This hashtag, this ID of title isn't doing anything yet, and neither is this class that is called blue. So if we come here to the HTML, and inside of this opening head tag, I'm going to put ID equals inside of quotes, and I'll put the name of my ID. ID is the hashtag, so we're saying find the ID or the hashtag with this name, so it's called title. And as soon as I do that, I told it to find the ID called title, so it went to the style sheet and found that and applied those rules, a font, size, a color, and a family, which changed that. That should be used one time per page. I can then use this class, which starts with a dot, of blue the same way. So if I go inside this paragraph and I put in class equals quotes, and that class starts with a dot, the name is blue. So I then just put in blue, and you'll notice that turned a lighter color of blue. I could then take that same thing, because you can use a class multiple times, and I could put that in as many places as I want, and it would continue to apply. So ID should be used once, and they start with a hashtag, and classes can be used multiple times. Now the next thing to look at is something called the universal selector. The universal selector will select all elements on a page. So for example, if we go ahead and take out this ID and these classes, here in my style sheet, if I put a star, that is the symbol for the universal selector, on my curly brackets, and then I put in a color of blue, you'll notice that every single thing on the page turned blue because the universal selector selects everything. Now another thing we can look at is pseudo classes. Pseudo classes are special effects classes. So for example, if we wanted to take this title and have it have a hover state, we could do that. So let's go back into it and we'll add the ID of title, and you can see it goes back to its blue color. Currently does nothing when I touch the mouse over top of it, but if I add another rule here and put in hashtag title, and then you put a semicolon and then hover with no spaces, and I'm simply going to say color red, and what you've now told it is that anytime the mouse hovers over it to turn red. So if we go there and touch it, you'll see that the text turns red. That's typically used on things like menus, and that's a pseudo class. The last thing to point out is that you can group selectors. So if we were to get rid of all of this CSS and go back to the page, you'll see it's once again just black. If we wanted to turn all of this text to be a different color, we could do that individually if we wanted to by putting in H1 color blue, and you'll see that turns blue, and I could make another rule for the paragraphs, and I could do the same thing for the list. But instead of doing that 3 times, you can do it with just one rule by grouping your selectors. So all you need to do is put in a comma, and then the next selector, and a comma, and then the next selector, and you can add as many as you would like, but you'll notice adding all those to that one rule will apply that rule to all of those selectors.